Oh, that's the issue. I understand.
So this is a new format, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is our actual, I think what we've been doing previous to this is, we're recording now, just so you all know, but what we were doing previous to this is making a PDF and sending it out. So now that we've got more of this program figured out, we just are sending you to our program essentially that gives you the PDF.
Because it didn't go to the town website.
Is this one through the town? Yeah, it's all, this is linked on our website as well,
Right, so
so
what
yeah.
when I linked on it, it took us to the town website, and then you go down to the meeting, and then now the public has the package and everything, just click a button on the website.
Yeah.
Works good.
Good. We're happy with the software, just little things still. Okay, sorry, we're ready whenever you are.
We'll call the meeting to order at 1 o'clock. The town of Smoky Lake respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of First Nation and Métis people. And I'll move to adoption of the agenda. Any additions or deletions? John?
I actually have 3 additions, if council's open to that. One, there was a meeting this morning for regional fire, so I'd like a wildfire rapid response program added. 8.8. 13.1. And I give a handout for that with the motion. And then 13.2, another handout, letter for College of Physicians and Surgeons and the Minister of Health. And 13.3, ACP grant, Alberta Community Partnership Grant.
I'd like to delete 9.3 after following a meeting with the CAO. I'd like to defer the 9.3 MPC bylaw to the next council meeting, as it has not been reviewed by the CAO, but was thoroughly reviewed by the assistant CAO. So that would mean we'd also remove 14.3. Any other additions or deletions? Marianne?
I do have one, and it might just be for clarification. Was there any requirements to have additional information on the CAO evaluation?
Evelyn?
I was wondering about that as well too. I thought that we were gonna have to put 2 because we cut that one short because of the timing. They're supposed to be. So I was expecting it to be added to the agenda this time, and it wasn't.
What would be added? Mel?
Actually, yeah, we just add that to 14.5.
It's kind of like a finalization summary thing, is it?
Yeah.
If I may, I brought it forward because I wasn't sure if we were writing something on behalf of council for the finalization. But there's also documents that were requested that were not given to us at the time that still have to be given to us.
14.5.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that it, Marianne, I don't know that it has to be a camera, or my things that I would like noted are just for clarification.
Well, we'll go into camera and then we'll decide at that time where we're at, and what we need to present out. Terry,
If there's no more, I'll move to accept with conditions of deletion.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. 3.1, February 5th, regular council minutes. Evelyn?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the February 5th, 2024 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And then the February 5th council, regular council meeting action list. No,
Make a motion to accept the February 5th regular council meeting action list as presented.
all in favor? None opposed, that'll be carried. And we'll move to public auction. 4.1. Oh, it's not 1:30 though.
So we should,
So like,
yeah, continue on the agenda and then come up.
Okay, delegations.
At 2:30.
Right, well, we'll move to administrative reports, 6.1.
So at my performance review, there was discussion around changing up how we do the admin reports. Unfortunately, this time around I was on holidays, so I just said submit them all as normal, but I didn't bring all the staff in. I met with all the staff to review their reports before. We can still go through them all, and then if there's any that I need to get more information on, I will get that for you, and other than that, I'll just highlight, I guess, a couple areas for each one. Or you can just ask questions, however you would like to proceed.
Probably best if you start with the highlights, I guess.
Okay. So my meetings are all there for you to review. Then of course I was on holidays for a week. We will be starting, the deadline for applications for the intern position is March 1st, so we should be getting applications sometime next week. What was there, something like 48 already qualified applications for the, ours is the administrative stream, and there's only 6 of us that are hiring. So, and that was a couple weeks ago now, so it'll be interesting to see how many we get in. And then they should start between the April 29th and May 31st, depending on the applicant. And then, of course, we did the province did announce as you're all aware, the Housing Accelerator Fund. Our plan as administration is to, probably next week, we're gonna meet and come up with a general 4-year plan to bring back to council, so you have an idea of the direction we're planning on going in and get feedback from council. And then I think also, I'm hearing that there's a lot of questions in the community and rumblings about it. Your review or your interview was very well spoken, very well done. I think it'd be good to maybe put out some sort of a press release or more information on what the town is pursuing with this grant as well. So,
Yeah, that would be, I think,
yeah.
helpful.
So we'll come up with some information and then maybe forward something to council. So that's high end for mine. If there's any questions or comments?
Marianne?
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. I do have a question about the training for the intern position. So would that be done by yourself or?
Essentially, yes. We did administrative stream. And the reason we did that is it's very generic that way. So anyone can come to us with, like, what were the other 2 streams? Planning and development and finance. So this person will be more of a generic where we said it would depend on the person's qualifications and desires and future goals. So when they come in, they'll really answer, we've already agreed that they'll answer to both of us. So ultimately me as their main supervisor and Crystal as the alternate. But the 2 of us will be working largely with them, and it'll just really depend on what education they're coming in with, because it can be such a broad variety. And that's what we put in our application. It's, our hope is things like policies and bylaws and helping with agendas but I mean, if they come in with something way out there and that this one, it's a matter of figuring out the right person for the position and how to best utilize them as well as enhance them with their career.
So if I may, to follow that, so the applicant would be fully trained, that your time wouldn't be, there would be some onboarding, so they would become trained.
Yeah.
They
They have
could
to have
fill
a
in the
degree.
role.
They have to have a degree
Oh,
to come in, yeah. Yeah, there's certain criteria they have to meet, and their goal needs to be to work for municipal government. It just depends on, again, because it's administrative, it's not clear that it's just planning and development or it's, yeah, so.
Thank you.
So normal onboarding and then supervision and a lot of shadowing. Ideally, this person, because it's administrative, they could potentially go to like meetings with me that as a CAO I would attend, but so they could shadow me in a lot of those meetings and stuff. It just really depends on the person and what their future goals are. They'll attend certain conferences. There's discounts for certain conferences as well for them to attend, as well as funding that we get for that. And I think you have to do two conferences and one training over the timeline. Two conferences and one, I think, so, but again, we have funding for that.
Any other questions? Are there any other questions regarding any of the other administrative reports? Okay. We can move straight into that.
Rochelle's, I'll just point out that it was 2024 Family Day, not 2023, and it was February 19th. So a couple typos in there. She said it was very well attended. They figure at least, they gave out 130 poutines. So,
wow.
and then there was a fundraiser done by TELUS for the food bank, and they sold about 100 hot dogs. So it sounds like, you know, you had a reasonable amount of people there. Positive, I heard lots of positive comments on that.
Good.
Anything else on Rochelle's report? She is in the provincial building now with Rob, although she's here a lot too, because we're still getting access to some files, so.
Evelyn?
No, she always writes excellent reports, so wonderful that everything's mostly self-explanatory. Just actually a comment about the newsletter that's been attached, because I saw it in comments from the senior center where they get dropped off. When these posters right here, the spaghetti supper, when those posters are shrunk and added to the newsletter, they're useless. So I know, I understand, like, I mean, right now on my computer, I can make it big and so on. But if we could refrain from doing that in the future, because I understand why it was done, but it actually doesn't work for people who.
So maybe
cannot see this
highlight
one.
rather than including the poster would be better.
Yes,
Okay.
if we could do that
I'll
instead,
take that.
that's very difficult to read.
Yeah.
And great to see Jesse Listcombe coming to Smoky to the school, that's great.
And notice our front counter is decorated pink for Kindness Week. That was an initiative of the Smoky Lake Youth Council, so and
Nice.
Reminder to wear pink on Wednesday.
Evelyn?
Okay, so the next one up is Robin's. All right.
We continue to work on the website updates. The CTAP is an ongoing thing. We're struggling with the gentleman that was very gung-ho in the beginning that organizes it. It was really good when we were first working with it, and now we're waiting on some documents from him, but that's coming along slowly. And then Raman has been meeting with Noreen to come up with what their plan is to then bring that back to council. They're also looking into funding, so, but that will come back to council before anything obviously happens there. And then land use bylaw amendments, there's several of them that he wants to bring forward, but because of advertising requirements, we'd rather bring them all together as one, so that, or together, so that we can do one public hearing rather than spending the money for advertising month after month after month for public hearings. We can do it as one and then bring them all forward to a council meeting and then see about getting those approved. And that's that's related to the HAF as well as the housing accelerator. No, the housing, ad hoc housing committee
Okay, I was gonna say that.
direction as well.
Evelyn?
Okay, so following up on what we're talking about with the housing, it's come to my attention that there's actually there's multiple financial institutions that will not give mortgages to tiny homes or to certain homes that are of a certain size. So if I could ask through you to Raman to approach ATB locally to make sure, like, because if we're gonna be this is the route that we're gonna be taking, then our local institution hopefully would be the one that would be, anyway, if we could look into that. It's not like I know much about this, except that it's been brought to my attention, so I'd like to make sure that we have that. You keep putting your hand up, so go ahead, interrupt me.
I just wanted to say that you're right. I did look at one time getting a mortgage, is anything under 900
Okay,
square
so-
feet. You need, it's just a special kind of mortgage, like they have to go through a different kind of process. But it
Okay.
can be done, but it is a little bit tougher, yeah, you're right. So it can cause some kind of complications when advertising those, yeah.
But this is also the kind of information that we should know, so that when people start making those kinds of comments or whatever, that we can give that kind of feedback. So if we could look into that,
Yeah.
that'd be great. And then regarding the public hearing that was held, it was called a road closure. And I noticed that on our Facebook page, there was comments about being confused by that. And I received phone calls about it too. Is there a reason why? And I'm talking about what the church does. Why was it called a road?
That's how, I will double check, but it's a formal process that we have to follow through the province, right? So it's all
So they
legislated
call
on
it
that,
that?
yeah, it's called.
It's not
road
us,
closure.
it was
No,
them?
it's called a road closure. That is the correct, because it's like an alley,
Yeah, it was a road.
right?
it was
Is
road
technically a
allowance.
road, so it's a road allowance, so it is a road closure, even though it doesn't, looking at it,
Okay,
you may not see it as a road, but it's technically a road.
okay.
Yeah,
Because
so
it
it is a
created
road.
some confusion. We had neighbors that were worried that we were closing their back alley. And then it made me question and like, and so, but I went through and explained what it was. And
It's
then we
very-
looked at it.
Sorry, closing roads is not something the province likes to do.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to jump through all the proper hoops to make sure it's done properly.
Yeah.
So, but it is a road closure.
Okay, good, because there was confusion. Just so you know, there was
Yeah.
confusion that was created that way. And then. Okay, that's it.
All right. Any other questions about?
Oh, now we're on to John's report.
Yeah.
So I have a question about that too.
Okay, Evelyn?
Okay, so received complaints about CIBC, the ice around the CIBC, but I heard that it had already been addressed, so.
So technically so we cleared snow, we don't take care of it beyond that.
Yeah.
But so we had reached out already to the business owner and told them they need to make sure that they're maintaining it. On Friday, we had another concern come through. We did deal with that one. No, we did not. They had somebody coming by the end of that day. They were coming back. So we were gonna get our guys to go out just because it is downtown and we were just worried about our residents. But they notified us that they had someone coming to take care of it. So,
Terrific, okay, so they took the initiative, call you to let you know
after
that was
being requested, but yes, they
Okay,
did.
well,
They did deal
yeah,
with it,
okay,
yes.
all right, but at least they took care of it.
Yeah.
Which is good. Okay, and then continuing with the snow, with snow plows, with the car, because I noticed that there are several cars around that the snow plows have gone around. But they went around those cars a second and third time that those cars had not been removed in the interim. So what does that have to do, what does Public Works have to do? Do they report those or?
Not typically. We have been trying to communicate better on social media, saying, hey, we're clearing this section of snow. So encourage people that, like, that's our way of saying, you know, if you wanna move your car off the road kind of thing. We don't have a street closure policy for the town. Like in the city of Edmonton, when there's a certain amount of snow, you just aren't allowed to park on the roads. We don't have that. If we have complaints come forward about a car that never moves, because then it's considered abandoned, but people can park in front of their own house or their neighbor's house anytime, and we just plow around them,
Okay,
unless we wanted to change that, but it would take some.
okay, no,
Yeah.
good to know, because I noticed that
Yeah.
was going around. Okay. That's it.
All right. Any other questions? Mary? No?
Go through them all, go through them all first.
Just Ms. Derrick.
I don't know actually how to bring this up. So I had a conversation. I had somebody come and complain to me about the school parking. So, however, they're parking at the complex. So,
In the complex parking lot?
yeah,
Okay.
so they're considering that the school parking now. And so my answer, which I don't know if I answered this correctly or not, so if that school you had a larger parking lot and the students were parking in that parking lot. Aspen View would be plowing their parking lot and it would be Aspen View's cost. However, they're parking now in our complex parking lot and then complaining about snow removal. So I don't know exactly how to address this because I explained what our snow removal policy for that is. So I think we just might need to talk about the next time we meet with Aspen View is to have a discussion on parking, snow removal, who's paying, who's doing.
So I did speak with Brenda when we were talking about parking in the beginning, and she did talk to me recently now that the fences are down from the old school development. Because one question I had is, will you be opening up the parking to the students once the fences are down, once the demolishing's done? And she said they would. My only concern is, are they gonna walk down the hill when they can walk across the street? So I don't know if it'll help, but she was going to, because the other concern we have with the parking there is we've had some damages to our solar panels. It sounds like it might be spinning of vehicles, tires. So the school has done some good communications and we've had some discussions with our crew on how to proceed with that. Because that is also a concern. So, I mean, if it's encouraging them or just saying they, it's hard though, it's a public parking lot, or if it's a request to come to the town to do more snow removal, I guess would be another option, better communications with the school. Because she had mentioned that they were gonna open up that top. I just have a hard time seeing those kids walk, especially before the sidewalk's in. So anyways.
Yeah, I just wanted,
Yeah.
just so you know,
Okay.
it's come up and it might be a discussion.
Okay.
There's no other questions?
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky accept for information the attached administrative reports, items A through D, A, CAO report, B, FCSS report, C, development officer report, D, public works report.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Sorry, 2 more minutes yet, so we'll move to 7.1. Nope, we will not.
7.3.
7.3, Alberta Advantage Immigration Plan. Evelyn?
Here we go
Just to
again.
formalize it.
I know, and here, no,
Yes.
but here's what's, we have a colleague who came back to us and told us that town of Bonnyville had pursued this and it was a nightmare and they had to hire additional staff and it was all of this, so we all kind of went, oh, perhaps this wasn't the thing that we should pursue. I've since then learned about 2 other communities. One of them is the town of St. Paul, and they're having huge success with this. And had a really good discussion with them as why with Bonnyville, what they were trying to use it for was creating a heck of a lot more work. But with the town of St. Paul and County St. Paul that they're doing through their STEP program is actually pretty amazing. So we really do, from what they shared with me, that we really do want to pursue this. The thing is, what I'm going to do is say today is recommend it to the RCDC. Because it actually should be done by an economic development officer.
Okay, who was first?
Don?
Athabasca County actually withdrew from it as well. It wasn't just one. At that meeting, there was 3 other communities that had expressed extreme concerns over the amount of work for their municipalities. And after that, I saw in the news that Athabasca County pulled out. But that being said, I did speak with another fellow CAO who has done some contracting work to help with that. And I've asked him to connect me with that individual to see if there's other ways that it could be pursued without as much of an impact on staff. So I agree with you, we need it. I've had 2 residents in the last probably 3 months come forward asking for support on immigration, and I can't really provide them, and one was a new business owner, and I said, unfortunately, this is where we're at. It was a county initiative brought forward, but from what I'm understanding, it's at a standstill right now. We did support it, our motion was to support it with the county, but the former Reeve was at that Alberta Hub meeting, as I was. I don't think any councillors at that meeting. But, and that's where it came back, that several other municipalities, Bonnyville was one, but it was the general consensus of the room, not just one community. But I do think that there's things we need to pursue to, how do we, either whether it's pushing back to the province to say, you need to make this better and less red tape so we can do it, or are there other, like I said, this other municipality says they have this other way of doing it, so I've just asked for more information.
Well, if I may, so, yeah, they're having great, having that conversation with them I was like, if anything, we should probably be copying like directly what they're doing with it, because they've been very successful with it, and also explained how you can control it as well too. Like, for example, they have a bar set where businesses are allowed to hire 3 people who have emigrated, but you still need to have so many local people working as well too. So in order to prevent that skipping over locals completely and hiring and so on. So it's Linda Selstrom and Step that have actually been very successful with it. So I'd like to, but again, I don't want to necessarily give more administrative work here for it, because it is something that an economic development officer would complete that application, and it is Step that's doing it. So I say we toss it into RCDC's.
That was originally a county initiative.
Carrie?
Is our CDC active enough to get on it?
We will be if we pass this today. We need to meet, so this is a good thing to put on. Okay, so I'll make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake refer the Alberta, is that how you do it? Refer Alberta Advantage Immigration Program as part of the rural renewal stream to the RCDC committee for consideration.
All in favor? Anyone opposed, be carried. And we'll, you think we'll be quick with 7.4?
No. It could potentially go longer.
Okay.
We could, I mean, we could and start the,
We could just break for 2 minutes until it's here.
Why don't we do that?
It says 4 minutes. Yeah, so. So
are we,
So we'll break for 2 minutes.
break, okay.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order at 1:32, and we'll move to public auction, 4.1, the public auction for tax recovery property. And I'll hand it over to Dawn.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the role as the auctioneer. First, I'd like to state that lot P1, P2, Block 4, Plan 803 CL, certificate of title, sorry, 142232443 with a reserve bid of 96,700 has been removed from the auction, so that we will not be bidding on that one today. Forward, I'd just like to ask or declare that the public auction is open, and if I could ask anyone here for the public auction, could please sign in. So if you're here to take part in the public auction, if I can get you to sign in.
To participate or to watch?
If you're bidding, if you're planning on bidding on anything, we'll have you sign in. Or potentially bidding. So I don't need to go into a lot of details. We have one property up for bid unless there's someone online that's gonna bid, which only one qualifies. This one is lot 20, block 12, plan 4117 TR, certificate of title 012051285 with a reserve bid of 15,800. I really don't know how much more I need to say. If there's nobody, is there anybody interested in hearing more and potentially bidding on the property?
Nobody signed in and we proceed.
Yeah, no one has expressed interest, so I think, so with that, we would ask for a motion. for us to take over the property, right? That one will only go on lot 21. So I guess I'll close the public auction.
Yeah.
And then ask for a motion of council.
To close or?
No,
to-
to take over the property.
Mel?
Okay, I'll make the motion that the tax recovery property located in Smoky Lake at legal description
Lot 20.
P2 and Plan 4117 TR Block 12 Lot 20 was not purchased, therefore the town of Smoky Lake will register a tax forfeit instrument notification municipal acquisition form through Alberta Land Titles effective February 26, 2024 in the reference to Alberta Municipal Affairs Information entitled A Guide to Tax Recovery in Alberta.
All in favor? And opposed? Carried. And that is that. Right, so we'll move to 7.4 then. Sidewalks.
So we budgeted, I'll get to the item here. Budgeted 90,000 total for sidewalks along the old school location as well as the new school. And as you know, last year there was some issues with the one sidewalk. Alberta Transportation did not approve it. We didn't have permissions in place. So we removed the rails for that and we have a design for the engineered design for by the old school, and that one's been approved. The school has said that they will allow us to build the sidewalk beside the new school as well on their property. But they want to be assured through an agreement that they will not be liable. So if somebody slips and falls on the sidewalk, that they want a written agreement stating that we'll take responsibility for the maintenance of that sidewalk, which we typically do our general sidewalks in town anyways. But also that liability will be on the town, not on the school. And they did say that because I said, one of our councils did bring up at one point, if it's on their property, should we have a shared cost? And they said they do not have funds to do anything with shared costs. So based on their feedback, I'm bringing forward, do we want to go ahead? Because my plan is to contract the company right away so that these sidewalks go in early spring. But I need to know that council's okay with doing it with those conditions in place. So the town would pay for it. We would create an agreement, pass it on to the school. I do think the onus is more on them to make sure that it protects them legally, so we could just write an agreement and then they could get it vetted and make sure they're comfortable that there's no liability on them, and that you as town council are okay with that.
Terry?
So then, I'm looking at page 69.
With that.
Just wait for it to get there.
Well, why am I popping up? Why am I not getting the entire agenda? Oh, I know I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm clicking the wrong one. I'm
There you
clicking agenda, not agenda package, and then nothing's popping up.
I'm still learning.
Okay, yes,
So then the proposed sidewalk would be what's in orange.
yes. So
Okay.
the one by the old school, we already have engineered drawings for, and that, we have a motion supporting that one. The other one,
May I recommend that we tie in, because there is a sidewalk that they have in place that comes approximately to like where this big white roof is. And it goes in that side door. They have an existing sidewalk.
The, from what I understood, that sidewalk is, it's right beside the school. But this would be a public sidewalk. Essentially, this isn't going to be for the
Just
school. So they would want it separate because they don't want just the public walking like right by the windows
Yeah.
and
So then are
everything.
we gonna go right to Stogden?
yeah, sorry, I'm like, we would go to the sidewalk at least in
There's
front
no
of the
sidewalk.
school.
There, we'll go right to the Stogden Street.
Well, isn't there a sidewalk? I think,
Going east and west?
Like from the top of the hill?
No, east and west from 855 towards the school.
someone here, isn't there?
Yes, like on this side?
Don's talking, there is a sidewalk, but it would be like where the buses go,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not where this will go all the way to the street, are the new
or
sidewalk.
join into their existing, yeah. There is, they have a sidewalk in front of the school. Their own sidewalk.
Right in front.
You know what, just say yes, Terry, it's gonna go to Strawburn. Can't go to sidewalk in nowhere,
Let's get rid of the street, right?
yeah,
It's not gonna go east and west, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
straight north and south.
yes,
That's all we're paying,
yes.
because otherwise then we could consider frontage, right? Which we should almost be considering this anyway. In my opinion, because where the old school was, they had full sidewalks and everything. They chose to move down the hill with no infrastructure.
We were surprised this wasn't in the plans before building the school, actually. We had that recent discussion of that this got missed and on whose end, right? So, yeah. All right. Well,
I'm comfortable with making an agreement, we need a sidewalk to our new facility. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with it, we'll take care of it. We'll add it to our
So do you want to?
daily operation.
The town of Smoky enter into agreement with Aspen View Public Schools to allow the construction of a new sidewalk located at 5019 50th Street in Smoky Lake along the east side of secondary highway 855 50th Street on Aspen View property and the maintenance and the liability of the sidewalk to be the responsibility of the town to be funded from the approved 2023 or 24 budget.
it's the
2020.
23.
We did it
had
in
one
3 and
of those.
carried it
It's
over.
carried forward to 24?
It's already been approved, so from the approved.
Just put from the approved budget.
Sure.
All in favor? And opposed, carried. Agreement with, so 7.5, agreement with taxi service.
So this is one that we brought forward previously and we were meant to bring back and it was gonna go to a workshop and in the end it didn't, so we're bringing it forward now. So this is, the advantage of this program is that we're using a third party to oversee this process, the auctions, when companies or businesses, homeowners are behind on taxes and just collecting the taxes. The advantage of this for a small town, and we did, Tamara actually spoke with Daysland and Clyde, who are both very small communities, and again, it's when you have that one person where everything's off the corner of their desk, so, you know, for us, it's Tamara who does taxes and utilities and online, so finance stuff. You know, so it's, the advantage is when we take some of these little things away, they can focus more on one area, but the biggest thing, because it's not a lot that we get, you know, there's the letters and whatnot that go out, there's, if you look in the RFD, it shows the different tasks, approximate time spent on the tax recovery process, it can add up. But that wasn't our emphasis as much as, because we're making that work and it's only occasional, but the other part is, you know, we're talking to our residents in a small town and we're potentially taking someone's home, right? You haven't paid your taxes and we're going after people's homes as part of the process. And we can say as much as we want that, you know, it's part of it's the MGA, it's legislated, it's, you know, council's decisions, but it's still a small town that we are dealing one-on-one with these residents. So it is something to consider as a way to place some separation and then and free up some admin time. Just an option that we thought was, when you look at the costs and so the costs are here of $295 to $595, depending on what level of tax recovery we're at. You know, if you're going right to the bids or the auction, or if it's just the beginning stages. So something for consideration. I can bring Tamara in if you have more specific questions around our processes.
Terry?
these neighboring municipalities, did they tell us what the average cost to the taxpayer was on some of the stuff that was done by this company?
Well, she has the quotes from, their fees from tax service in here.
So let's say, for
example.
example, what we just did, right?
Mhm.
So if we were to use them today, what would that cost have been to the tax? Because obviously the taxpayers are having financial difficulty if they're not paying the tax.
Right.
So if we are gonna hand over the service to another company that's going to, it's probably the thing, that would add a lot of additional burden due to fees and service charges and stuff like that, that we are doing now and eating up as administrative, making it more difficult and then ending up in the same process that they make arrangements to pay it, and then it's just an added amount for them to pay.
Yeah, and there is value in that, do you ask where she's having?
Cause they kind of said here,
Do you wanna speak more to it? Maybe Crystal had, okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
Like if it costs us $20 to write a letter and they're gonna charge them $120, but it's gonna go on their taxes anyway. Just discussion. No, that's,
no,
On page 71, there's
yeah, I saw that.
the approximate, so like approximate time spent on tax recovery.
That's our time.
Yes,
Yeah.
so
oh, I don't need to.
that's our time rate. I don't know what your question is. I thought you, that's,
So-
I understand that you're saying is if we outsource it, then that goes on to the.
Tax.
Yes,
Cause these fees.
but it
are
doesn't
more
change the
taxes,
fact that
right?
there's a cost associated with it, whether we're doing it or somebody else.
If they
The
went
only
all those
thing
steps.
is,
It's just not passed on.
right, our cost would be at labor cost for that person versus paying the whoever's gonna look after us retail price for writing it, you know what I mean? Like it costs us half an hour or $25 to write a letter. What are they gonna charge you? They're gonna charge $150?
They don't charge for those things, for like writing a letter, that's all included in this right here. On this, so if it's only up, if it goes to public auction, then it goes for the total amount, but if it doesn't, then it's just $295.
So then, as soon as we hand it over to them, it's gonna cost the taxpayer $295.
Yes. And then if
So-
it goes on further and further, then it'll.
So at what point do we hand it over to them?
We would be doing it right now if we decide to.
No. At what point, when the person is, how far in arrears before we hand it to these people?
So when a person's 2 years in tax arrears,
So it's
Then-
after 2 years.
Yeah. that's when they get the process of going on the tax arrears list. So they would be sending out, if they were to
After
take it
2
over
years,
your.
I'd be okay with that, because we've given them 2 years to come in and make plans,
Mhm.
because so if a
It's not
person
easy.
comes in after those 2 years and makes arrangement and payments, they wouldn't be filed with this $295.
No.
It would just be after the 2 years, they haven't contacted us, they haven't responded, we hand it over to them, let them look after it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Evelyn?
So, I was looking at some of the numbers that you provided as before, and I'm still learning this kind of stuff. When it comes to our tax, there is a certain percentage of taxes that we have to collect all the time that the municipal affairs wants us to hit, and that means that we're a viable municipality, right? Because there's sometimes where villages, in particular, the ones that are hit, that they're not collecting their taxes and so on. So we're okay with that going that way, that direction, okay. So again, part of my lack of financial acumen, language that I'm using. Do we need a bylaw for penalties for unpaid taxes?
Yeah,
So do we have one?
I think that's in
Because
our service bylaw, isn't it?
it's in our master rates
Master rates.
bylaw.
Yeah,
Master rates,
Yeah.
is that where it's located? Okay. Because I was looking for a specific one, so it's located under our master rates.
And we were planning on bringing that to this meeting, but it's gonna be the next meeting, so.
So, okay, so that's.
So there will be a chance to see those fees as well.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask about that. So. No, I just. Make life a little bit easier for you that way.
Well, and I think too,
Like
when you
for your
have
position, not you personally,
No,
but
no,
you
no.
for your position.
For sure. I think too, it will be beneficial. And for the people that I've called, other municipalities that I've called and talked to, they've said great things about it. And I think it's good for the clients or the customers or the residents too, in the aspect that it's a third party that they're dealing with. I think when you know somebody and you're in this situation, it's maybe a little more difficult. And I think that aspect they can help better in that way. I think it gets too personal and they, I think you'll have a better outcome receiving the
So
money.
ideal for small municipalities rather than cities,
Mhm.
ideal for towns.
The
and
person that's
villages.
taking your money for your water bill isn't also the person that's giving you notice that we're gonna take your, or put your home up for auction because you haven't paid your taxes.
And then just for clarification, because I'm reading their brochure and they're saying no cost to municipality, no cost to municipality, but then we were given a schedule of all these charged costs, so that's what we can.
If there's certain instances, I haven't had to do any of those other extra
Okay.
costs in the
Alright.
last few years that I've done this, so I can't see it even on the future ones that I know, the properties that might be going up for public auction or things like this the next year or two, I can't see any extra cost being added onto it.
Okay. All right.
Alright. And when are you, or no, do you have a question? Or you?
No, I couldn't remember if it's Evelyn or me.
It's gonna be me, it's me, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay.
So I'd like to make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake execute the agreement with tax service for a 2-year term to manage the Town of Smoky Lake's property tax arrears recovery process until December 31st, 2025. And all costs associated with tax arrears recovery proceedings will be applied to the respective property rules.
All in favor? Anyone opposed, so carried. 7.6, Smoky Lake Regional Chambers of Commerce building lease.
So this is one that came to council, I believe, and there was a, sorry, agenda item. And there was a motion to get, they wanted, there was discussion around who was doing maintenance and who owned the board. So we asked the chamber to come up with a basic agreement to clarify that. So the agreement is very basic, but I think it kind of does what it needs to do if you're okay with the contents with it. So it basically says that the property is the chamber's, we'll maintain it under $1,000. So if it's damaged and needs work that will, and that's in kind even, right? So our guy's working. If it's more than that, it'll go back to the chamber. They'll put their sign on it. We'll decide if we want our sign on it. We're leaning towards putting the Devonian Park sign on one of our rocks, slate rocks instead. And that there'll be a lockbox on there for ads, but that both the town and the chamber would have access to that to put our stuff up or theirs. And that's kind of essentially the agreement if you are okay with it.
So I have 2 questions. So currently it doesn't have the lockable portion, but
No.
who would be paying for that?
They would be.
So they're going to purchase it and pay for it?
Gonna see if Rochelle sends me a quick Teams message if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the conversation was that they wanted to put a lockbox on that. Because we talked about putting one outside of our building actually, for us. But
And then my second question is, it's interesting the amounts that you came up with, the $1,000 and that threshold amount. So currently it's not sealed. So would there be some work to seal it, and who would be doing or paying for the materials in the application?
So she said they're planning on purchasing the lockbox and that they're gonna get it sealed as well.
No?
Yeah, that was my same question, because I thought that was supposed to be sealed stained it quite a while ago. And now it's turning color, so I'd be in favor of this agreement after it's done.
And the dollar amounts were presented from the chamber, so those were, that's just what she wrote into it, so I mean, if we didn't agree with the amounts, we could.
If there's no other discussion, I don't know how to say that though, because I would really like it to be completed before we take it over. So, I'm okay with making a motion that we execute the lease agreement as presented once it has been,
Once it's
pending
been
the
sealed and
lockbox
the
on
lockbox is-
and the stain and seal already applied. Then I am good to go ahead with executing it. So that would be my motion. Do you want me to be more technical? That the town of Smoky Lake execute the billboard lease agreement with Smoky Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce located at Devonian Park at 174 Whiter Street in Smoky Lake as presented once the lockbox, or pending the lockbox be purchased and put on and the sign itself be sealed
By the chamber.
by the chamber.
All in favor? No opposed or carried. And then 7.7, Elevate Wellness Action Team Sustainability Plan.
So Michelle's gonna come in and present this one. Here she comes. I felt that this is one that she's been working on since day one, and it was suitable to have her come in and make sure that all the proper information is brought forward.
All right, so I wanted to bring this one, this is weird because my headphones still going.
Hear yourself?
I'm hearing myself speak, that's a little distracting. So I wanted to bring this one forward just to give visibility into everything that Elevate Wellness has accomplished as a committee and also where we're at in the life cycle of Elevate Wellness. So Elevate Wellness was funded through the Alberta Healthy Communities Initiative grant. And that was something that had been applied for in 2019. And it was meant to be a 3-year project, and due to COVID, it got extended into 4 years. And then through that grant was born the Committee of Elevate Wellness. And then through Elevate Wellness was the 3 key priorities of eating healthy, physical activity, and mental well-being. And now those were the initiatives that were driving kind of the activities that we were doing across the community. So some of those activities that you guys have seen was things like all the work that we were doing at the Devonian Park. And then there's still some of those initiatives that have like a tail end that are ongoing and a part of our sustainability plan. So what happened is in November, we came back together as a group, we celebrated all the successes that had brought us to that point. And we also made the decision that the team itself was not going to sustain, but the work and the initiatives that we had outlined would be embedded into sustainable plans. So one of those examples would be like the lending library. So the lending library was something that we commenced through Elevate Wellness, but we found a home for it within the library. And then we worked with the library to ensure that we put some additional funding there for the longevity of the lending, the library of things. So I just wanted to give that visibility because there was a lot of activities and many of those projects that came to council for input and for approval. And we just wanted to ensure that you guys were across some of the initiatives that have already been completed, which were really highlighted in the community impact report, as well as some of the things that are still on the horizon. So we do have some raised garden beds that will be going in the spring into the Devonian Park. And we also have some bike racks that will be set up that are currently waiting in the shop. So just wanted to open that up for any questions or just have you guys file that for information.
If there's no questions, then thank you, Rochelle, for all the work and commitment you gave to the project to see it through. And at this time, I move that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information the written update provided by Rochelle Amiot, FCSS, no,
It's okay.
right? The French is not so good. FCSS Director regarding the Elevate Wellness Action Team Sustainability Plan.
Right, all in favor?
Oh, no. Can I, so that is it for the wellness committee then?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
I did have a question before the motion. That's okay, but just, because you mentioned the bike racks, about the signage, there's supposed to be signage along the trails, correct?
Right, and so that was one of the initiatives, so we had signage that was created that there was some kind of strategic points that we wanted to put it along the trail. But then because the town was looking at applying for some grants,
Wayfinding.
as God knows, I can never get it right, the wayfinding grant. Then as a team, we had discussed maybe it makes sense to calibrate with the town and have that incorporated so that there's more synergy across the branding and like the look and feel of those signs. And so that is still something that we have budgeted in the sustainability plan is the cost of those signs. But the ownership and kind of the outline of what that will look like moving forward would then sit with the town.
I'm happy.
And we did apply.
I wanted to hear that.
We did apply, or we did budget for some wayfinding dollars in the event we don't get any grant funding, so there's, regardless, we're gonna be able to do something this year and tie in with that. Hopefully we get grant funding as well, and it'll be.
That's what I wanted to hear. No, it's all. It was very enthusiastic. Talk very much, so. Fortunately, it's not something that alters the motion,
No,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's fine, so thank you.
All right, we'll move to new business. Thanks, Rochelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
8.1 volunteer firefighter incentive.
So with this one, something else up on my computer. I did ask Raman to do some research on this, because I was away. And we couldn't have time to get to it beforehand, so he phoned around and did some research, but we also had a fire meeting, regional fire meeting this morning, and there was some great ideas that came forward there, so it's, yes, so I pulled that up as well from that agenda. So Raman found that there were a few things, the biggest one being property tax reductions, where being an active firefighter, responding to a certain number of calls, that you can maybe get, the town would reduce your property taxes by a certain amount. That's one that's common. Another one is local businesses, where you, if you're a business owner and you allow your firefighters to go out on calls during the workday, that you're provided with some incentives on your property taxes. These two were also brought up at the meeting this morning. One thing I brought up is, I said, as devil's advocate, I think it's great, but keeping in mind regional fire going regional is gonna cost us more. And then these items will cost more as well. So just something to keep in mind is that if we're not getting as many taxes from our firefighters and businesses, that's a reduction to our income. So just keeping that in mind. A couple other ones that came forward this morning, the one I really thought was great was fuel cards. So the county has membership at UFA, and they get fuel cards at a discount, or to provide discounted fuel. See, oh my goodness. The idea being that all volunteer firefighters that are active would get a card, and they could take advantage of those cost savings. So you're paying your own fuel, but it's for your own personal use, but you get to use the card lock. So that was one.
Introduce the county discount.
Yes, yeah. So that one was one that they wanted to move. I think the motion was to go ahead with that one. And then some other ones that came up was gym membership. Again, same thing. I love the idea. Our issue is that it's Wasatna, and $300 a person. So again, great, keeping in mind there are costs to that. I think we should just build our own gym, you know. That's me personally, but then the other ones were bonuses. So if members are responding to 25% of the calls, 50% of the calls, 75% of the calls and practices, that they'd get some bonuses at the end of the year was one. And another one was the property taxes. So the ones they wanted to move forward with was to move forward with the fuel cards and then pursue further the other two of gym memberships and attendance incentives at this point. Nothing will go forward until there's an actual policy in place though.
No.
Yeah, the gym one is a little awkward for us because it's not in the town, but we do have a golf course, right? We could maybe, that could be an incentive, like a percentage of, make a deal with the golf course about memberships or something like that.
You know, another one, sorry, Terry had to stand up first.
As we're always needing volunteers and how could you put it? Number one priority would be volunteers that live in the town of Smoky Lake. I feel that we should pursue with the reduction in taxes. And the other ones, once it goes regional, they could worry about the gyms and stuff like that. We'll look after our own town residents that would participate in the fire department.
But the issue with the taxes is that coming up with something that is kind of fair across the board, because there are people that pay high taxes and people that pay low taxes, and the incentives would vary, and
That's why you
And then
just,
there's multiple
just go by a
people.
dollar amount.
yeah, but there's multiple people in the household. Some people don't pay $2,000 in taxes, so they have to, anyway, there's a lot of, too many dimensions.
So it's worth pursuing, so I'm not
Yes.
gonna throw baby out with the bathwater, I'm the one that's a huge proponent of this. And the reason why I'm a huge proponent of this is because actually I think the province should be doing this, and then it shouldn't be doing us, but we're gonna pursue it in the meantime in case the province lets us down, but I do wanna use this as a negotiating tactic with all other municipalities to guilt the province into doing this for ourselves, and I would love to actually learn more about what Coaldale and that the Basket are doing, and as Dawn suggested, we might even, when it comes to the resolution and so on, we might wanna tag team with Coaldale on this.
Done?
So one of the other things that came up is although it's our firefighters and our tax incentive and it affects us, but 80% of the calls are in the county. So one conversation was that should it really go to ICC to be part of the regional fire plan, so that really the county, even though we'd be giving the discount on their property taxes, some of that would get charged back and the county would cover it, because it benefits them for us to have firefighters. So that was part of that conversation of that one, right? The other one I forgot about this morning, actually, when we're talking about gyms, one thing I had come forward from one of my previous departments was, we do the wellness program for staff, right? You get a certain amount of money for being an employee. That was brought up by one of my fire chiefs that, could we do that at the Basque County had a lot of firefighters, but for the town where you have some sort of a wellness incentive, so they could put it towards running shoes or treadmill or something, since we don't have the gym in town. Might be something we want to think about. I never thought about it this morning,
No.
I'm kicking myself, because
No, that's an
Yeah.
excellent idea, that it's like a gym membership or equivalent of wellness.
They did mention that for Vilna too, like,
Okay.
that was the option, that Scott had said that they'd rather have gym equipment
Mhm.
of some sort. Terry?
The biggest thing with this that I see is what levels and how you're going to do the tiers. Like, I'll just use an example that sometimes there's a fire call and the fire department goes out into the country and some people just stay in town and are on hold, that if they need more people or if there's something happen in the town, that you're there to cover it. With just going by 50 hours, like you can go on 2 calls in the county and get your 50 hours.
Yeah.
That doesn't benefit the town any, and when you come down to the town not receiving taxes. So if we're gonna pursue it further, we have to figure a way of recognizing that.
Ellen?
Yeah, and we did, Roy brought up similar issues that you did too, a tiered, like it's not gonna be a blanket, everybody gets.
That's right.
It's going to be big, and which I thought was an excellent point on his part too. He actually was tying it in more to training, the higher training level you get.
That too.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of those variables.
But I'm definitely in favor of the program and pursuing it and bring it back to another meeting.
Well, and I'm just wondering, like, do we want to pursue this individually, since we're pursuing it regionally as regional fire right now? Like with the regional fire and then also the ICC, if they're going somewhere with this all, do we just leave it with them to be brought back here for support once it's approved? Or do you want us to pursue something independently of what they're already pursuing with the committees?
So I'm over here with my physical.
I know where you're voting, yeah.
Honestly, yeah, actually, and if anything, that is more conversations after the meeting as well that took, because I know who was seated at the table, I know what they were saying, and yes, I do believe that the town pursue this, because the county, it's almost like saying, let's be the managing partner on this, we will pursue it, we will look into it, we will, and then they're gonna watch us very closely what we're doing. And potentially.
No.
I'm in favor of pursuing it independently. We haven't come, like, even though we're doing talks on regional,
It's gonna be a long time.
it's gonna be a while. I think we need to. The other thing, though, I do wanna bring up is, we do have firefighters on 2 fire departments. So,
I disagree, I think we should be working regionally, I don't. The UFA cards will be immediate, so that will be an incentive that is, like, could be immediate, I should say. So that will start prior to the regionalization. But otherwise, I think we should be working this together, not having independent. And it is confusing because there are firefighters on different. Mary Ann, a question.
Well, and I don't know if it's really relevant at this point, but I too was on the meeting this morning as an alternate. How far away are we on the term, looking at regionalization, how far away are we from rolling it out in your best guesstimate?
I mean, I'd love to say, I think we're closer. My concern is all the little details that need to be dealt with. So we've agreed with, in principle, on 2 full-time firefighters. I think that's the only real decision we've made. So that's the issue is, so it didn't make the agenda because of our new software. It was stuck on my approval, even though I had already approved it, on the capital equipment. How are we proceeding with that? So I'll put it on the next agenda. So there's that, and then there's all the policies needing to be updated and agreements signed, and I just feel like we're quite a ways away. Although I think we're on the right page.
So then follow up to that, thank you. And I know it's hard to guesstimate, right? But so then having said that, I think that the town should be leading the way and being innovative to develop their own rewards program, and maybe it can be piloted to as the transition occurs. That could also incorporate the UFA card or the wellness program or something in addition to, so that it meets the needs of those people currently serving.
No?
and I don't mean go independently, I mean being mindful of like the talks going regional, but not waiting to go regional is what I mean. Like, we can go ahead and start doing something in mindfulness that these are the outside conversations going on. But we will have to figure out about the 2 fire department thing.
Dawn?
And they are bringing back some policy options to the next meeting on the 15th. So I guess that's my only thing is we're pursuing something that we're already pursuing on this committee. It's a little inconsistent, and we can do it. It's just, are we kind of doing what we're already doing over here?
So I'm ready. Evelyn?
So, yeah, 2 points I wanna make. While we're doing regionalization ICCs, we still have to continue with our fire services. So that's why I wanna keep that until we meet at the top. We're running alongside each other. Secondly, a point that I made at the meeting this morning, but I'll say here, is I said this as a roundtable at my small communities committee meeting. It was just supposed to be a roundtable item, and everybody got extremely excited. And so much so that Alberta municipalities has said, well, we didn't realize, like, this is very cool. So probably gonna have a workshop on it, and we have a lot of communities that are already saying, we really want to keep an eye on, let it keep us in the loop. So I think that we, to follow up on Mary Ann's comments, I think we can be a leader with this. Caldwell started the way, Athabasca, I think we can get the ball rolling. And again, want to put the point there, I really would not like to have a cut to our municipal taxes. I'm hoping to guilt this into the province doing it instead, so that our firefighters get a cut from both the province and federal. Okay. So, Krista, are we taking turns or? Oh, sorry.
The question or?
Motion, is that allowed? That I will move that the town of Smoky Lake direct administration to pursue volunteer firefighter incentives to include municipal property tax reduction and local business partnerships, and administration present the information to a future council meeting in reference to the Smoky Lake Regional Fire Rescue Committee motion number 0802 or 08-24.
All in favor? Any opposed? And will be carried. All right, 8.2, council workshop strategic plan.
I apologize, Councillor Close. I understood you weren't here at this meeting. So that's why we moved the strategic plan to the next meeting, as it was supposed to be, the workshop was gonna be today. And we moved it because you weren't here, so obviously misunderstanding, so. So maybe
I understood that
I thought it was today too.
Well, I also remember I said I couldn't meet this morning because I had that appointment.
Yeah, I thought it was
Right.
today, sorry, Evelyn, when you said that like email, I was like,
we all thought it was today, so. So may I recommend that we do the workshop on April 8th?
Yeah. Evelyn?
I'd like to make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake schedule the council workshop to discuss the strategic plan on April 8th, 2024 from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. at the town council chambers in Smoky Lake.
All in favor?
just quick discussion, okay, you know what, I'm gonna say yes, but I might add something, it might not work for you.
You wanna make, well then let's make it friendly.
I know, I would just like to, is there any chance we can do the next one? The 23rd,
Oh, yeah.
is that okay? That I,
29?
or 29th?
Yeah.
The only thing is that's joint municipalities that night, but that's okay, it's just wanting to make sure you're all aware.
Threw me under the bus again, so here we are going to join again.
20, yeah, it's okay with me if it's a long day, but
I don't care, those are long days.
yeah,
Okay, let's do it April.
sorry.
Evelyn?
All right, so already moved to the next one, sorry. Okay, so that the town of Smoky Lake schedule a council workshop to discuss the strategic plan on April 29th, Monday, April 29th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the town council chambers in Smoky Lake.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right. 8.3, Terry? 8.3, letter of support. Yeah,
If there's no discussion on that, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake request administration to draft a letter of support for the 2024 Rural Health Professionals Action Plan, City Healthcare Heroes Award nomination of Dr. Anton Rubenheimer, Dr. Stefan Rubenheimer, and Dr. Hendricks Lawrence, Smoky Lake Medical Clinic staff in reference to the motion number 13-2024 made at the February 7th, 2024 physical physicians and healthcare professionals regular committee meeting.
all in favor? Any opposed, so carried. Now we'll move to 8.4, physician and healthcare professionals committee budget.
This was approved at the last physicians meeting, we're just looking for support from council to go ahead with those budget allocations.
Mariette?
So I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake adopt the year 2024 retention budget for the Smoky Lake Region's Physician and Healthcare Professional Committee with the town of Smoky Lake contribution in the amount of $6,240 based on 26% of the total budget in the amount of $24,000 in reference to the Physicians and Healthcare Committee meeting that was held February 7th, 2024, motion number 15, 2024. All in favor? None opposed?
Just have a question. Do we see, well, it wouldn't be an audited financial statement, but do we see a financial statement of that committee?
We usually include the
No,
minutes in the council reports.
Sorry,
We usually include the minutes for those meetings in the council reports. Is that in this one? Okay.
but they don't do a yearly thing that,
We just brought one. We
like
can,
a budget or whatever the money's been spent on?
we can add that to the next agenda. Because it was just brought forward to the last physicians meeting, so we can just, or you can review it there, but we can add it to the agenda if you want.
Sure, that way then everybody knows where the money's going.
Yeah, if I may, just a quick question. Historically, was there any type of, i.e. sympathy basket or anything provided for, say, someone from the clinic had a loss of a loved one or anything like that?
We've done the Christmas, and then when the new doctor had a baby, we did one for the baby.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
clarification.
All right. Did I call the question? I don't think so. No? All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 8.5, Smoky Lake Community Daycare Cooperative dismissal of Smoky Lake County appointments. I think that was you, Evelyn.
I did look for information online and it was discussed in course, so I couldn't find any.
And all that is the motion. They haven't provided the daycare with anything yet. An email with the motion was submitted, but I think nothing else has been formally, no letter, no resignation or anything like that has come through yet. I checked this morning, just thinking I could bring something if there was, but there's not yet.
Evelyn?
Do you want to defer this until the next meeting, until you have more information on it then?
We can accept this for information, and as it comes in, I'll just add it.
Okay.
I'll keep following up. I've already reached out saying as soon as it comes, if you get anything, please forward it so I can send it to
Okay.
council, but so far, nothing has come through. It happened the same day as the last meeting, so.
Okay, so a little too soon to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary Ann?
Yeah, so just in reference to page number 114, the motion is to give like I interpreted it as a 1-year notice, right? So I was at the last meeting and there was nothing put forward, and so I'm not sure.
Terry and then Bill.
So, like Marianne just said, here in their motion, it says to withdraw their shares from the membership in Class B membership voting shares. So does the town own any shares
Yeah, like, what do you mean? It's
in the co-op? See,
the,
right here it said,
yeah,
therefore removing Councilor Linder Fernandez or whatever as appointed member and Councilor Dominique as alternate, and provide 1-year notice of withdraw to the cooperative in respect to the county's Class B membership voting share in the capital of the co-op.
it's a voting share, so they keep one position on the board for the school, like the principal, the town representative, and a county representative. So the other ones are co-op members, because they're parents, so they have a share in the co-op, $10 fee or whatever.
Yeah.
So the town and county and the school, it's a different kind, it's just a
It's just a voting
position,
one,
voting
membership
position,
voting share.
yeah. Now, I do know that a representative from the county already showed up about the cell phone and stuff, but nothing has been in writing yet, so we don't know yet.
So they're providing the daycare with a cell phone.
But I know.
Mary Ann?
So this motion that we see on 114 was at the 2 meetings ago from the county. At the previous meeting was an agreement put forward of what some of the financial contributions. So when it was set up, it was a daycare, or sorry, when it was set up, it was a cooperative. So there were shares, but through the terms of reference as motioned, as referenced in the motion, they still have to look at the bylaw, because you can't just withdraw and not, I would assume. So I think that's what we're waiting on, right?
Something, to be honest, we're waiting on anything. It was just. We'll wait on it and go from there.
Evelyn?
Oh, and I recognize this is something that we probably have to go into closed session about because it's a business discussion, but I would like to discuss it. So again, file for information or defer to the next meeting. What is it that is the best?
Defer to a future meeting.
Just leave it a generic to future meeting and then wait for, okay. So I'll make that motion that the town of Smoky Lake defer the email received from Councillor Copes dated February 19th, 2024 regarding the Smoky Lake Community Daycare Cooperative dismissal of Smoky Lake County appointments to a future meeting.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And,
Yes, just 5 minutes before the delegation.
Because the next one is not, can't be done in 5 minutes.
no, that one we could do meeting for 7, but that's good. We'll take a break. We'll call the meeting back to order at 2:33. And if I get a motion to go into closed session. Mel?
Yep. Burning.
Okay, all in favor? None opposed, that's carried. Kind of weird.
I know.
Technically still-
You technically make the motion in close, come out of close, but then you need to record the motion.
Let's just do it.
I need a motion to come out of closed.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Closed, carried. And we'll move on to our second delegation. And, Dennis and Graham from the.
So you want us to lead off?
Yes, please.
Okay, so thanks for accommodating us today. We've been spending some time with Dawn over the last weeks and months going over these. I think it's fairly close to the point where we're prepared to sign, but we have a couple concerns. And I hope you looked at the package of information that we provided. So the first one being item 6.2D. The last portion of that that's highlighted, which is or disobey any other rules, regulations, and directives which the lessor may from time to time promulgate in regards to the lands. We do not find that wording acceptable. We'd like that portion deleted totally. And in fact, it's in direct contradiction to clause 10.6. If you look at 10.6, 10.6 is very clear. It says the lessor may from time to time make further rules as negotiated between both parties relating to the orderly operations and regulation of the land. So we have no problem with that at all. But we certainly have a problem with those last number of words there in 6.2D. So we would like that removed from the lease. And the reason being because of the definition of the word promulgate. Basically, there's two definitions. One is just make it widely known. The other one is that basically it can be an order by decree. So we can't agree to that, and it directly contradicts 10.6. So when you look at the whole issue of contract law, leases are actually contracts. Wording is very, very important. So you can't have contradictory statements in a contract.
So you're saying 6.2D?
6.2D, the last 20 words that I read that are highlighted green.
See, it's not highlighted.
Page
green.
32.
Yeah, I'm on the 32, how come I'm on
Page 3,
54?
page 3.
You're on the
Oh.
actual lease.
Yeah,
Go to
Oh,
32.
it's a little bit confusing.
This is, sorry, this is the delegation notes, page 32.
Or just
Oh,
the
So you
one-
don't have, you don't
just-
have, you
yeah.
don't have benefit, because we provided enough copies for everyone with the highlighted stuff. They've got that?
It's in
Okay.
their package, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So anyhow, so that's the first one. We'd like those words that were highlighted in green, we'd like them deleted. And then
Just
the
the
next,
words?
pardon me?
Just the words?
Well,
the whole.
okay, the words starting with, you can leave the rest as is, but that last line and a half, or almost two, where it says starting with or disobey any other rules, regulations, and directives. Okay, we want that deleted, because it directly contravenes 10.6. We have no problems at all with 10.6. And the second one that we also think is totally unnecessary, we'd like it deleted, is section E in 6.2 as well, where it says the lessee shall not carry on or permit any illegal or unlawful activity on the land. And again, that's directly in contravention, or contradictory, I should say, to 10.1A, where, and we agree to that, where we will at all times be in compliance with all applicable statutes, regulations, and other applicable laws and bylaws. So that means we have to essentially abide by all laws of the land. So
But
there's,
why do you have an issue with it then?
well, there's no, when we're agreeing to abide by all the laws, there's no need for us to agree to do anything illegal. We're not gonna do anything illegal. There's no need for us to agree to that. We're agreeing to abide by all the laws of the land. That's a totally unnecessary clause. Like, certainly, it's not
I
our,
understand what you're saying. I'm just saying if you're agreeing to it already, I'm not sure why that's offensive,
well,
because I can see you're offended.
well, I think it's unnecessary wording. We are
But
agreeing.
unnecessary wording isn't offensive. I see
Yes.
you're frustrated by it, and I'm not sure why that's frustrating. Cause it's the same thing. You're not gonna do anything illegal. I know you're not gonna do anything illegal.
right.
You know you're not gonna do anything legal.
That's right.
So what's the problem?
Well, I think it's a contradiction of words. You, on the one hand, you say, you ask us to, and we're gonna agree, we're gonna abide by all laws of the land. Okay? So there's no need to ask us to agree that we won't do anything illegal. We're not gonna, we agree to abide by all laws of the land, period. It's an unnecessary clause.
So
That's my
And
own
it's-
question.
Yeah.
did, Dawn,
And that wasn't in the other, in the
Just hang on a
previous lease
second.
as well.
did you vent this to the lawyer at all?
So there was one for another, for the riding club that was vetted through a lawyer, and I have the actual vetted document with the notes on the side, and I based this lease on that one. I sent the lease, we met, they gave me notes, and I made a bunch of the changes, and then they came back with further changes, so we met and discussed. And these are the items that I said I was not comfortable removing because it had been vetted by a lawyer, and if we were going to do
On the
that, my
previous one.
recommendation would be that we would actually send it back to the lawyer, so I said I can't do that. Spend those funds without, like, in my opinion, coming back to council, so when we get to that on 7.2, that would be my recommendation.
Marianne?
See, if it was embedded in the riding club lease, which you said it was embedded by the lawyer, it wasn't in our last lease.
But your last lease was very old.
Fair
It
enough.
needed it was, I didn't even look at the last
Yeah.
lease when I wrote this one, it was completely rewritten because it was a very outdated, and I can almost guarantee not vetted agreement back then.
Well, and I'll, with all due respect, I'll make the same comment to council that I did to you, Don. If that lawyer vetted that document at any stage of the game, if we received a copy that he had vetted, it was done very, very poorly, very poorly. We found numerous grammatical errors, spelling errors, all kinds of stuff.
But
So-
as I mentioned to you, I wrote it and I sent you the wrong copy. I
Okay.
sent you the copy before I updated it, so I missed, it was my initial, I didn't have the Word version at that point in time, so I literally read and typed and then sent that one out rather than the one that was then formatted, so.
I mean,
And
that-
I said that I should hire Mr. Holloway-Chuck to do all my proofreading, because he's very thorough.
The bottom line is that removing either of those highlighted lines won't make any difference to the lease. It's essentially the same lease.
That's what I was gonna say,
It's just-
so why not just sign it and it's over and done with, and we don't have to send it away to the lawyer or anything?
You don't have to. Those last words in D, we can't agree to that. Because it directly contravenes 10.6. Take the time to read it, and if you need, then you can get a legal opinion on it. The last one, E, if you really want to leave it, fine. We're not, but the reality is, from our perspective, it's totally unnecessary. And when you look at the whole issue of contract law, you typically make a point of not having contradictory statements within a document. period.
Marianne?
And I worked a lot of contract law over the years.
So then
Documents.
I would ask a question based on risk and benefit. What is the risk to leaving it as is? Like, although you said it contradicts, is there any benefit just to leave it
Okay.
and you're not gonna have a risk?
I think trying to look at it from the perspective of risk and benefit is totally irrelevant. I'm looking at it strictly from the perspective of clear and concise contract law. And you cannot have contradictory statements in a contract. And 10D or 6.2D, those last words directly contradict 10.6. So, and we don't have any problems with agreeing to 10.6, we agree with it 100%. So remove those contradictory words, simple as that, clean the document up. And you don't have to go back to the lawyer to do that, mind you. And then, like I say, if you guys really can't live without removing E, we'll leave it in there, but I think, again, it's contradictory when we agree, we're gonna abide by all laws of the land. And then you want us to agree that we're not gonna do anything illegal, we've already done so by saying we're gonna agree to all the laws of the land. Simple as that.
What's 10.1?
Well, 10.1,
Agree to the law of the lands.
that's right. It says, will at all times be in compliance with all applicable statutes,
Oh,
regulations, and other applicable laws
sorry,
and
you're
bylaws.
just comparing those ones, but you don't have an issue with that one, it's just those
No,
first two.
we agree to that.
Yeah, you just say where it is.
Yeah, anyhow, we'll leave it with council,
Okay,
and
so,
we're gonna skedaddle,
Thank you.
okay?
so very specifically, it's the under 6.2 to remove D and E.
No,
Just the last
No,
words.
no,
in
just
D.
the
Just the last word.
Highlighted.
in D, those words that were highlighted. And then E is highlighted, the whole thing is highlighted, I mean, it would be our suggestion to remove it as well. But the reality is, if you don't change D, if you don't remove those last few words in D, we're not prepared to sign. Because it directly contradicts 10.6. And we're not
Does
prepared
it
to sign a document.
contradict or does it mean the same thing?
No, it directly contradicts, Terry. It directly contradicts 10.6. So. Anyhow, we'll leave it. And you guys can pull up Webster's dictionary and have a look at it like we did.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Graham. Nice to see you.
See you all.
See you
Thank you.
later.
Need a blood pressure pill, I don't know if I Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna do it, and then I did.
All right, we will move to where we're. Okay, let's finish up 8, there's like 2 left, is that fair? And then we'll come back to the 7.
8.6, right?
Yeah,
Where we are.
yeah, 8.6. Right, water restriction bylaw.
This one was a recommendation from Council Combs, and I think it's something valuable with the drought conditions this year.
Terry?
I'll move the town of Smoky Lake request administration to draft a water restriction bylaw and present bylaw at a future council meeting in reference to the email from Councilor Combs dated February 20th, 2024. Town council motion number 39-2024 regarding drought concerns.
Any discussion? Mel?
Yeah, this one is hard. I agree, 100%, I'm in favor, but I do have, like I've said in the past, I have reservations about being, like, look what just happened. That bothered me so much. It hurts my head how much it bothered me. I know I looked over you, I'm not gonna look at you anymore. It bothers me that, that the town of Smoky Lake got a thing saying that we need to restrict our water because the pump was down. And we weren't even, that email wasn't directed to us, but we're down the line. And we're always down the line. From the big cities, we're not moving, we're always gonna be down the line. We're gonna have, I would assume, a lot of restrictions. And it is super annoying to me that, do you think Edmonton's gonna have them?
They better.
I don't know. Do you think they put out a thing on the news, right? Oh, we should close car washes. Do you think the car washes all in Edmonton closed? They did
Well,
not.
not all. A
No,
lot did.
I'm just saying, it is something I agree. with this because I think it's gonna be an issue. It's unfortunate that water for life is gonna be such an issue. It's very,
How much bigger
Frustrating.
capacity are we gonna have for reservoir versus?
I have to double check.
I think it was about a third more, wasn't
It's
it?
a third
think
more
so.
that we require for fire service.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at least we're stepping in the right direction to for volume to help us through those things if they happen again.
We're just a little ways away though.
Yeah, we're a little bit away, but I do agree with it. I just needed to get my comments out how much it bothers me.
Any other?
Otherwise, my head explodes, just in case you guys didn't know.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
Easiest motion from one of my emails ever.
You look shocked.
I did, I was like, oh.
8.7 intermunicipal collaboration committee, ICC ad hoc housing committee member change.
This was just a cleanup. So when we initially appointed members and decided we wanted this committee, we all agreed, I think at the ICC level, we agreed 1 member per community. But then the terms of reference for this working committee is based on the ICC bylaw, which lays out the terms of reference, which says 2 members. So we're just asking to appoint both Councillor Proskauer and Coates to the committee, whereas right now it's just Coates.
Terry?
Then I suggest to be an alternate on that committee. And then and then it said something about, in one place it said ad hoc housing committee, but in the motion it doesn't say housing, it just says working committee, so that would be, oh yeah, for housing. But that would be for all ad hoc committees of the ICC.
No, just this
Just this
specific
one?
committee, yeah.
We should make it for all of them?
No, I'm gonna make this motion.
Okay, go ahead.
That the town of Smoky Lake appoint Deputy Mayor Proskauer as primary member for the alternate member on the ICC ad hoc working committee for housing opportunities and initiatives to satisfy the terms of reference as outlined by bylaw 002-2020 Smoky Lake Regional Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework and appoint Terry.
Councillor McCowich.
Macowich?
That's Councillor McAway, up to you.
Sorry, put Terry on there too, no.
Yeah.
Councillor McAwaychuk as an alternate.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And so I guess we'll move back to 7. So we'll start with 7.2 and then we'll move 7.1
Yeah.
to closed. And then that way that'll be moved, and then we'll just go to 7.
So, I think I said what I had to say. I tried to be very flexible on the changes. There were a lot of recommended changes and I hesitated on some and then reworked them, and these were the 4 we couldn't come to agreement on. If you feel that we're covered with it, I'm not overly concerned with this, obviously with this group. I just felt I didn't feel it was my place to say, yeah, we're just gonna ignore what our lawyers told us with the last lease, without, so my recommendation was to go back to him and have him look it over, but it's up to council. Or just say, this is the lease.
This is 7.2 or 7.1 we went?
7.2.
Oh,
We're
okay.
jumping to the Algonquin then.
Yeah, I'm good with whichever way. It's like Mel said, it doesn't make a difference one way or the other. It's pretty
You
much
guys
the
are
same.
comfortable removing those items as they're per their request, then then I'll go ahead.
Do you want me to move that then?
I need a minute. I need my dictionary. This is my
don't
dictionary,
think
by the way.
that-
I'm gonna
In my
look it up.
opinion, they don't contradict each other, but again, is it a high risk group?
They have
Is it more
guns.
about, right, it's more about,
Seems like it.
I think the whole harmless is the biggest thing. I mean, we're charging them $1, so it's not, the chance of them defaulting and us stepping in and taking over is if the group just is no longer a society and goes away, right? So, and I don't think that's happening, so.
So then the recommendation with removing them is the one here, it says delete part of section 6.2.
Just saying, that wasn't my recommendation, but I was gone. I had this in
Yeah, yeah.
closed session actually, the lease, because I don't think leases should be in open, but it got moved. Miscommunication on my part.
Terry?
I'll move that the town of Smoky Lake execute the lease agreement with Algonquin Shooting Sports Association for the use of lands located on Southwest 275917 west of the fourth for a term of 25 years as amended, delete part of section 6.2D, the words or disobey any other rules, regulations, and directives which the leaseor may from time to time promulgate in regard to the lands, and delete 6.2E, the leasee shall not carry on or permit any illegal or unlawful activity on lands.
All in favor? Any opposed? And it'll be carried. All right. All bylaw and policy.
Oh.
9.9, carried. Oh,
Do we want to do 7.1 or we're gonna do all?
We need to go
closed
in
session at
close.
We
once?
said we're gonna move it to close.
I
Oh,
moved it to
sorry.
close. Sorry,
Okay.
I'll talk louder.
Nope, that's right, it was my.
No, actually, I understood that same way too, so.
All right, bylaw and policy. 9.1, policies to rescind.
So as I've been talking about, I think for the last 15, 16 months that I've been here, policies, I'm trying to make a priority. We've come up with a work plan to update all remaining policies. It is my recommendation that these ones, and I've written little notes beside each one why I feel that a lot of them, they're covered by other bylaws, they're no longer valid or policies or bylaws, or they're legislated, so really we don't need a policy because it's in labor laws and it's in, right? So my recommendation is to, what was my wording, repeal, because that cancels them, rescinding means they never existed, so. I adjusted my wording on that. If anyone has any questions about any of those, or doesn't agree,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm ready to move that the town of Smoky Lake repeal the following policies effective immediately. P-05, R-0213, G-01, G-03, G-04, G-08, G-10, A07, A02, A03, A05, A08, R01, G-14, and P-03.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
Good work. Nice job getting that cleaned up.
9.2, procedural bylaw.
and this is in response to our previous workshop, so I highlighted my changes in there, so I added consent agenda, the meaning of it and how those will proceed, and also committee of the whole meetings. So by approving this, we can now hold at the call of either the chair or council, committee of the whole meetings, and we will bring forward the next meeting we'll play with the consent agendas, but Crystal and I have discussed it already and looked at a few other communities, so we can work with you on how we're doing those moving forward, if you approve this bylaw with 3 readings. If you would like to change anything, of course, this is the opportunity.
Evelyn?
I find that our procedural bylaw has become unwieldy. I think is the best way to describe it. And I've been looking at it and I'm realizing that part of the problem is that we've tried to combine everything that covers our committees and our board, our committees, it says commission, but we don't really have a commission, and we're mixing it with council. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that I actually think that procedural policy would be a lot cleaner if we would have 2 separate ones, because we keep bringing the procedural one back which we should, because of how we as council, how we work together. But as a result, because when I looked at it, all the different fonts, all the different definitions, there's still a lot of messiness within it from all of the cut and pasting. So I think we would be better off if we could separate the two, because when it comes to our committees like FCSS and even I noticed it where we've changed it now, but with the municipal commission bylaw, there was a reference how they would govern themselves, that they need to, and it goes back to, again, our procedural bylaw. So I think it's better because if we could keep those as I was saying, the committees with procedural bylaws separate from ours, which is what a lot of municipalities do. We would not be changing that quite as often as it is with the ones that we're doing. Just a comment, otherwise, the amendments that you've made in red, which by the way, I do prefer, that's a great way of seeing it, like instead of including it, again, the next one that we're deferred, it's been deferred. It's nice to see it in there, so I don't have a problem with, I didn't see anything. Is it my turn?
No, it's Terry's.
Terry?
I don't know, lost it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Which one's 71?
Right here. 9.1, right?
No.
9.2, page 171.
I'll move that the town of Smoky Lake give first reading to bylaw number 04-2024 procedural bylaw to provide for the organizational and procedural matters of council, council committees, and code of conduct for the town of Smoky Lake.
All in favor? None opposed or carried?
I'll make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake give second reading to bylaw number 04-2024 procedural bylaw to provide for the organizational and procedural matter of council, council committees, and conduct of council for the town of Smoky Lake.
All in favor? None opposed or carried? Mel?
I'll make a motion for permission for third and final reading. The town of Smoky Lake give permission for third and final reading for the bylaw number 04-2024 procedural bylaw to provide for the organizational and procedural matters of council, council committees, and conduct of council for the town of Smoky Lake.
Very good. Carried unanimously.
And if I may, before I start, so for clarification, are you saying that it should be two bylaws if it comes back again, or we're just moving this
Just
forward?
a lot of,
Clarify what you said, sorry.
okay. Yes, I think we should separate the two, keep one specifically for council and keep another one for council committees.
But she was comfortable with the changes, so we're going ahead to implement
For
this.
future development.
But for me to, so I'm taking this as an opportunity to say it, but I'm not going to, because then you would rightfully say to me, point of order, because we're actually here about specifically consent agendas and so on. So why Dawn has brought this back, I agree with specifically, but when I looked at the procedural bylaw, when you look at it, it's over 20 pages, and I understand where all of it's still messy. So that's why I'm just saying, okay,
Thank you.
it needs to be cleaned up.
Thank you, and thank you for clarifying for the future. In that case, I'm gonna move that the town of Smoky Lake give third and final reading to bylaw number 04-2024 procedural bylaw to provide for the organizational and procedure matter of council, council committees, and conduct of council for the town of Smoky Lake.
All in favor? All right, 10.1, mayor, councilor, and committee reports. Evan?
So a question on your report, the MCC met twice, once in January and once in February.
No, I think no, I was gonna correct that the January 15th is exactly the same as the January or February 5th, because I cut and paste and obviously copied and pasted and not cut.
Okay, all right.
And didn't take it off. It's the same
Well, I was
thing.
about to say, yay, MCC for certain, made on a regular basis. And then just follow up on the Smoky Lake tourism.
Yep, we're planning a meeting, hopefully, we've got dates from M&A and it's March 13th, 14th or 15th, but we have to confirm all of that.
But you, before Christmas, you were saying you guys were gonna meet in January, so you guys didn't meet in January?
Can I?
No.
Not due for lack of trying.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. It very hard to get all the players. Like Amy's been sending dates, asking for dates, seeing what works, but they just were not getting back to us. So it's not for lack of trying. So now they have given like 3 dates that kind of work, so we're just gonna make it work. Yeah.
I think that was all. Oh, I guess I should, so I have, before you move, because I know I'll love to. Came up at Community Futures, so I will no longer be submitting any information to you about Community Futures, because it was deemed that all of that meeting is an in-camera session. But from now on, the manager's report and an attendance will be submitted to council to prove that your counselor was at those meetings, because that's again what it's for. But you won't be getting any Community Future information in the package from now on, as was decided at our last meeting. So there you go, Terry, unless anyone has any questions about that.
Terry?
I wasn't able to attend the MCS Net information night, just wondering how it went and
Thank you, I wasn't there.
No?
It was a true to Smoky Lake event. 5 people showed up and Hank and had some coffee and donuts.
Yeah, I think I got him on this one, guys.
Yeah, it was good though, and it was nice that they came and the information was there, so unfortunately, no, wasn't well attended, but they tried. And I've heard good things though, so from the
Well-
community members and people who are
Just
looking to
to-
switch over, so.
just to let you know, I'm scheduled for March 5th and I can't. Cause my system kind of wasn't working. And after a few nice text messages in response, thank you, I found out it was my router, not my internet service. But when I did my speed test, I was only at 80% of what I was paying for.
Evelyn?
So were all of our customers invited? Or did we just do, like we sent them an email or a letter and they weren't interested?
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon with town halls, as per one of our recent discussions, right? It's really hard to get them out. So then we're reaching out to them. So we're gonna make sure that we're communicating very well back and forth, where please let us know when somebody's signed up for 2 reasons. They should be calling us to cancel us. But since it's our transition, we'll also take those steps to make sure that it's canceled the same day. And also so we can follow up personally with the ones that haven't reached out yet to say, hey, you have till this date. And we did say our last date was March 31st. And in a public meeting, I'll say we are keeping it a little longer just in case. But that was more if there was issues on MCS net side, we didn't want people to be without.
I just want to make sure that our customers, where everybody knew about it, and if they didn't
Repeatedly.
show up, that was their prerogative, but they were the ones that were the most important rather than a general.
It was really good to connect their staff with our staff out here. We invited them to join and to make sure they had that firsthand information, really good, positive. And even when I got, because I'm a customer, and so when I got the call from MCS Net and I expressed that, it's really important that I'm not ready yet. My place isn't ready yet, but you need to go into more details on that, right? We're transitioning the whole town, and once this is done, you will be connected. Because I know that, but I want to make sure our customers are very clear on that, so. Yeah. We have heard positive, feedback from the ones that have already transitioned.
So what happens to the equipment that's there right now?
You own it, it's in the agreement that with the town. So it's not, we don't need it back.
Is there a recycling thing for it?
Hmm,
Maybe we
Try and
should
sell
look
it.
into it.
looking
Yeah.
to see the recycling.
Yeah, if people wanna hand it in and we can
Just something. Cause I don't think it's gonna be having other use.
Any other? Gary?
I'll move that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information the mayor, councillor, and committee reports items A through D. Councillor report Mayor Chernichan. Councillor report Deputy Mayor Zrutsky. Councillor report Councillor Coates. Evergreen Regional Waste Management February 5th agenda at January meeting minutes.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried, and we'll move to 11.1. Letter of support, Métis Nation of Alberta 2024 Emerald Award nomination.
So this is something we did last year, so we felt comfortable that council supported it and would likely, and being that we didn't have a meeting, we asked Mayor Chernichan if she was comfortable with us giving them a letter of support to try to get that award again this year. So this is to ratify that action taken.
Jerry?
I'll move the town of Smoky Lake approve action taken to provide a letter of support to Métis Nation of Alberta MNA regarding the 2024 nomination for the Alberta Emerald Award Foundation for work on environmental and climate change programs project and the collaboration between the MNA and the town of Smoky Lake to construct the Métis Crossing solar project.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried, and we'll move to 12.1. Correspondence to file for information. Evelyn?
So before I'd like to make two motions because in the correspondence is included the financial statements from two of ours. So can I would like to make the motion that admin contact the remaining group and remind them to submit their financial statements as per their contracts with us. Do I need to be more detailed with that or?
No, it's
So,
good.
I mean, I could have reminded Dennis and Graham when they were here, but I didn't, but.
Yeah, one comment that was made by them actually was that because I had a timeline on there or something in the agreement, they said sometimes it takes a while to get them. So, but we'll definitely,
Okay, but
yeah, we can reach out to them.
It's year for 2023, it's at the end of February.
He just happened to make that comment when we had our last meeting that sometimes there's delays and. But yes,
Yeah, so-
yes.
Which is interesting, but I'm gonna make that motion that you contact, so equally, we've heard from two groups, we should be receiving financial statements from all of them, so. That's the motion.
All right. All in favor?
Okay,
None opposed, so
and then
carried.
Terry, do you wanna beat me to this one, or would you?
That's Mel's actually.
It's actually mine. This is my favorite one, but it's fine. I'll let you go ahead and do it. You go ahead. Giving her?
So you are gonna, okay. Well, no, because they
I'm
just
ready
said
to
it's
go.
you go, you're ready, go for it.
I'll move that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information correspondence items A through D as follows. 2023 Smoky Lake Library Infographics, Smoky Lake Provincial Detachment Calls for Service Report, January, December 2023. 2023 Financial Statement, Smoky Lake Riding Club, 2023 Financial Statement, Smoky Lake Scenic Rocket Center.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Last minute additions. 13.1 rapid fire.
All right, so this I did give you as a handout. I very much appreciate that she sent the motion right away, because I mentioned we had a council meeting. So, as you know, or as you may or may not know, I guess, wildland fire season was called early this year due to the drought conditions. So we did talk at, I don't remember which meeting it was, about bringing this to, I think it was ICC, that we should bring it to the fire committee because our regional program isn't ready yet. So the committee has supported. The idea is using using current existing firefighters to cover 2 on call at $100 per day rate to be available and within, I think it was 15 minutes or something they said. And then 2 members to be paid to be at one of the fire halls doing work. So they get paid $300, they're fully available to be on calls or be dealing with wildland fires and be working in the halls doing cleaning and pulling hoses and whatever needs to be done. This is for a 6-week, potentially a 6-week period, based on, depending on the season. And the county has budgeted for this year, so there's actually no cost to us, so they're just looking for support for this, to proceed with this program.
No?
Yeah, I think Terry had a question.
So what's this with an out of region firefighter rate of $300 per day plus meals and mileage?
So if we can't get enough volunteers internally, that they could contract out. They did talk to members on the weekend, they said, and it sounds like there's enough buy-in that we should be okay, but if not, and we didn't have the proper coverage, and the idea being if you were available Saturday, you could just do one day. And then another member could do another day. So they're hoping to be able to piecemeal it together with a calendar and have it covered fully locally, but if not, there will be additional costs if we have to bring in someone from another municipality, including mileage and food on top of the day rate.
CYA.
Just so we don't have to come back with a new motion. And the idea is starting around, or the 15th approximately, depending again on when it's needed. Hopefully we get a lot of snow or rain and we don't need any of it, but.
Harry?
So what are they asking for from the town?
Just that we support the implementing this wildfire rapid response program.
Because the rescue committee, the fire and rescue committee is a regional. It's not the regional fire, but the committee is regional, so we all have to agree, even though it's coming out of all of county funds.
So our motion would be
That's
that
why
the town of
I'm asking.
Smoky,
We have
yeah,
no
so,
fight.
But we have
No.
to.
so that the town of
What?
Smoky Lake agree to establish a wildfire rapid response program in response to the anticipated drought based on the following. Or even, I don't even know if we need all of the information because we're supporting that motion
We're
there.
just supporting the program.
Yeah, the program.
There's no financial
Yeah,
or
no.
anything to do with it.
I don't have it, so. Yes,
Is that it?
Yes,
I'll make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake support motion 15-24 made at the wildfire rapper, or made at the regional
Fire and rescue.
Smoky Lake Regional Fire and Rescue.
meeting on
Today.
today, February 26, 2024.
Can we include to establish a wildfire rapid response program in there?
Yeah, you can
Thank
add
you.
that.
Makes our motions
I was
clearer.
making mine real vague there. I was gonna suggest though, don't we have like 2 unpaid volunteers that can help with the hoses and stuff back at the.
I think they have to be firefighters though.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh,
What are we talking about?
the students,
Oh,
The ones
we played at Hank.
the unpaid students.
Do we have them again?
I'm not 100%
The
clear.
town does or the?
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up.
okay, all in favor? None opposed and carried. And we'll move to letter of the College of Physician Surgeons. Associates, I can't remember what the last thing says.
So this RFD, I'm
1, 2, 3.
got held up in the system, so we're just, it came from the Physician Healthcare Professionals Committee as a recommendation.
Carried.
Too slow. I'll move that the town of Smoky Lake submit a letter to the College of Physicians and Surgeons, Government of Alberta Minister of Health to advocate removing the red tape hindering attraction and retention of physicians and healthcare professionals affecting the George McDougall Healthcare Center Emergency Room Services and medical clinics in the Smoky Lake region in reference to the Physician and Healthcare Professional Committee motion number 11-024.
All in favor? Any opposed? And then 13.3 ACT.
Move.
This one, can I say something about this one first?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
So all the motions
These
to carry.
approvals came 3 months ago and so we were surprised by this because we didn't think we received it. But we were approved for the ACP grant with the county for the regional water, wastewater and stormwater infrastructure design study. So we were pretty excited about that.
I'm excited.
Oh,
Everyone's
Evelyn?
We had something before Christmas where we were declined ACP. This is a different ACP? Or
No.
this is, we were declined and then now they gave it to us?
well, we assumed we were declined because the other two received their approvals and all the approvals were done. So we said they were
Oh,
approved and
that's
so we just
okay.
put that we,
That's
and
why I was
then we were
confused.
looking for the paper trail and to forward to MP because they assist us with this grant or they do this grant application for us. And couldn't find it, and then came back, it was in my inbox, so sorry, it went to the county and they probably knew before you guys did, but it was in my inbox when I was on holidays and I was like, oh. So, cause it went to the partners, right, us and the county, so it went to the CAO for the county and the Reeve, as well as our mayor and myself. So, and all the MLAs in the area, so, yeah, very exciting.
So we did get approved for
Yes.
ACP application,
Yeah,
we just
so it
were
must have been a late
delayed.
one.
Okay.
I'm not sure
So,
why.
and the other one that we thought, because it was Setna in the county, so then did Vilna, do we know if Vilna?
There was 4 in total, so we definitely got 3, I just don't know which
So we
one
don't, we
didn't.
just don't know
I'm
about
not, I'm assuming no, since we haven't heard anything, but
All right,
could be wrong.
well, that's good.
Yes.
All right, make that motion, Ms. Counselor McAwager.
I'll move to accept the letter from Alberta Municipal Affairs dated February 12th, 2024 in regards to ACP funded project with your municipal partnership.
All in favor? Unopposed? Carried. All right.
Okay, now can I go to last one?
Can we get camera?
Yeah, motion to go closed.
Mel or Evan?
I'll take that one since Terry stole my motions earlier.
Okay, take it.
I'll make the motion that we go into closed camera, or
All
closed session, sorry, closed session.
All in favor?
Closed session pursuit for the freedom of
Oh.
information protection for section 27, 17, and 16.
And then what about the fourth one that we just added?
It's under 17.
At 60.
All in favor? Unopposed, so carried. Okay, European.
Talk about.
Sorry?
All right, a motion to come out of closed session.
I'll move.
Okay, all in favor? Was carried, and Mel, you wanna make the first, 7.1, right?
No, we had it written down regarding.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that administration set a meeting with interested parties regarding matter in 7.1.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried, and then if someone wants to file 14.1.
14.1 or 4? Oh.
File for information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want something else.
14.1 part is, well, that was the legal
No, the
one, yes,
legal.
sorry. I'll move to file 14.1 as information received from our legal department.
All in favor? None opposed, and then 14.2.
That's the Little Creek one.
Yeah, so that was just information as well.
I could move that one as well. I'll move that to accept the update on the abandoned homes and next steps as presented by administration.
All in favor? None opposed. 14.4. Carried.
I'll move to
Can you just do this every meeting?
instruct administration to carry on with the negotiations with the third party on land sale.
All in favor? None opposed, and 14.5.
I'll make that motion.
Mel?
Sorry, can we pause, please?
Yeah.
I think we need a.
Oh. We're not making the right.
Could you amend that, please, that last motion?
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
to include those
Yeah.
friendly amendment to my last motion to include for administration to negotiate the sale of lots plan number 0721-842, block 7, lot 12, 13, 14, and 15. And I don't have to put who to, right?
Whatever's in the motion there, I think it is.
To
The number coming.
11943995 Canada Inc. for $15,000 each for a total of $60,000.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
And Mel, 14.5?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, for administration to add to our next council meeting, CAO evaluation finalized. Just to review comments and
Goals.
goal, finish the last page on the
Evaluation.
on the
I was
evaluation.
gonna say last page.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All in favor?
All in favor? None opposed, okay. And the meeting is adjourned.